Hey guys, we are back today with another video tutorial. Today we are going to be looking at our new Squarespace templates, which are using Squarespace's new fluid editor. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. I checked it out for the first time building this template, and I'm going to kind of go through it and give my thoughts on it, a little bit of feedback on it. I'm not paid to say anything by them either way, so the opinions you get will be honest, and I will walk you through how to customize a Squarespace template that we created by using the new Fluid Editor and Squarespace 7.1. So if you are excited for that, stay tuned and we will jump right in. So the first thing you're going to notice when you come in here is that the demo site is going to look exactly like the site that you're getting. So it'll have all the same photos, the same text, and the same backgrounds. You may notice that this announcement bar is missing, and I will show you how to turn that on. And you should have a free trial for 7 days, and I will show you how to extend that so you can have, I think it's a 14-day trial if you are not done working on your site yet. But other than that, everything should look exactly the same, and it should be a separate site in your Squarespace account if you have a Squarespace account already. And if you don't, and you have created one just for this, it'll be the only site in your account. So the first thing you're going to want to do to get that bar back is to go into Marketing and Announcement Bar and enable that. And that way you can see the announcement bar and you'll be able to type anything you want in here. I would do it in all caps. It just looks better. So we'll test that out. So once you have typed in what you want in there, you can go ahead and save it. You will need to upgrade to a business or commerce plan at the end in order to use the announcement bar. But you can, when you're working on your site, type it in and see it for free. So that's how you'll get that back. So this website is built on Squarespace's brand new editor. It's called Fluid Engine, and it's even newer than the Squarespace 7.0 editor or the regular 7.1 editor that you might be used to. Some people like it, some people don't like it. We will take a look at it. I actually really do like it. In the end, I didn't like it at first because it seemed really inflexible and didn't allow for as much customization, but in some ways it does allow for more. It's not going to be as easy to customize and do really cool stuff as like a Wix editor would. In some ways it's better because you can't mess up as much. It's a lot easier to kind of arrange your things and get them really straight and the spacing all correct on the page, so I really like that about it. So the first thing that you're going to do when you come in to edit is hit edit, of course, and you have the desktop and mobile view, and then the site styles. So if you are purchasing one of our Squarespace templates, all these site styles are already done for you. If you're using one of Squarespace's pre-built themes, it would work in very much the same way, where there's going to be something already set up for you, and you would just want to go in and customize these elements. And that's probably easier than starting with a complete blank slate. Hopefully that's why you are using a template to begin with, is so you don't have to start with a complete blank slate. But we did do that for this template. So all the hard work has already been done for you when you open one of these up. So the first thing that you'll see is that each page is organized into sections. So each important piece is going to be a section. This page has quite a few sections all the way down to the bottom. So there'll be a header at the top, sections in the middle, and then you'll have a footer at the bottom, and they'll kind of be grayed out, the header and footer, so you can't edit them while you're editing the body of the website. Then within each section is going to be blocks. So each one of these is considered a block, like an image block, text blocks, button block, a shape block, and so on and so forth all the way down the website. It's pretty much built up of just text, button, and image blocks. Pretty easy. There's a newsletter block here for this form. This is just, there's no blocks in this section, it's just the image, and we'll go through that more. And then this is also comprised of image, text, and button blocks. And that continues all the way down. We've got the summary for the blog, and I will show you how to add those or edit them as well. So just remember the basic structure is going to be header, sections, and you can always add another section if needed, and footer. So that's the most basic thing to remember, is the structure. The foundation of this house looks like that, and once you can grasp that concept, it'll kind of make the editing process even easier. So now that you understand the basic foundation or layout of how the site is put together, I guess the next most important thing to look at would be your site styles panel, which is going to be this little paintbrush over on the side. And like many site builders or template builders, the site styles palette is kind of a global styles palette that's going to apply to the whole website. And their idea behind that is to make it easier. So you only have to change the font one time. You only have to change the colors one time, and it's going to apply to every block that you put on this entire site. So it definitely decreases like really custom work like you can do on Wix. They have global styles as well, but you can kind of override them. You can't override them so much here, so you have to choose your fonts and colors and you have to stick with those. But it's not such a bad thing. It kind of simplifies it and makes it easier in the long run. So if you have grabbed one of our templates, the font pack is already set for you. It's going to show the headings and the paragraphs. These are the fonts that we've used. And if you click on each of those, you'll be able to see the font family, weight. They only offer 2 weights, style, normal or italic, line height, so how much space is in between each line, letter spacing, so if we add a little space between the letters for stylistic purposes, that'll show up there. Text transform, so uppercase is going to make every letter uppercase for the headlines. And then we have our different headings. So they offer 4 different heading sizes. So a heading would be like this. This is one of our headings. This is a heading. So all caps, something that you'd use exactly what it sounds like to head off a paragraph. So any of these that you would put at the beginning of your sections. So you would want to, these sizes are all going to be set for you if you're on this template to look good with what is in here. So I wouldn't go crazy moving these around too much, but this is the available options for you. You generally want to have your heading 1 size to be the biggest and going down from there. And you're going to also think of it for SEO purposes as importance. So heading 1 or 2 should be your most important elements. So like this. Heading 4 would be your least kind of little accent elements like this. Heading 2 or 3 might be something, like this. This would be a heading 1 or 2, and so on and so forth as you go down the page. So you kind of want to be able to arrange it like that. And I wouldn't mess with these too much if you're grabbing a template, because they're probably already set, whether it's one of these templates or one of Squarespace's templates or any template. They're probably already set to look good with that particular layout. So I wouldn't go crazy messing with these. The thing is too, if you do get a template, you shouldn't go crazy messing with anything. The more that you leave it alone and kind of just plug in your personal content, probably the better off you'll be when it comes to customizing that template. And of course, customizing the pictures, fonts, colors to yourself to give yourself a little bit more of an individual touch to a template. But changing every little thing is not necessary and not something you even should be doing. So this is all set up, and we'll just go back real quick. And then our paragraphs, same thing. They're already set up for you, but there's also 3 different paragraph sizes. So various areas are all interconnected on the template, but a paragraph, of course, is going to be exactly what it sounds like, a paragraph that fits right under your headers and works in different sections. This is also a paragraph, so it's probably paragraph 1 or 2. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's going to look a little bigger, but still be that secondary font all the way down throughout the template. So once you've set your paragraphs and your headings, which should kind of stay the same size-wise, but feel free to poke around in the different fonts. If you have a special brand font, you can go ahead and browse through there. It'll automatically change every font on the site, so you do not have to go through each page and do all that, or even each section and do all that. Absolutely not. So I could even just pick one real quick, and we'll just flip it back later. It's going to change everything on there. Pretty cool, right? And then if maybe it's too small, you don't like it, then go in and change very small adjustments on your size for the paragraphs. But look at that, like you just made this look totally different with one click. Like that's pretty cool. So we'll just put that back to what it was. Makes it super easy and quick to customize this, 'cause I've already done all the hard work from the blank slate of putting this together so that you do not have to. So now we'll go back out of fonts, and then we will go to colors. And obviously there's more settings in there, and you can go through those on your own. There are quite a lot of settings. So feel free to play with them all, but don't play with them so much that you can't recognize your site anymore. That's my only warning. So these are going to be your color palettes, and this will probably be something that you'll want to customize the most so that it matches your brand. So you do get this 5-color palette. So if you have a brand board already for your brand, you can go ahead and plug your hex codes in until you get 5 colors. They give you these palettes to choose from. If you don't have one yet, you can upload an image if you have an image you really like, and it will pull the colors from that, or you can pull it out of these different ranges. So those are different options to set your color palette. Then once you have that set, you have these themes. So just like it says, your palette colors are combined in different ways to create 10 unique themes. You can apply these themes to each section in edit mode. So as you can see, each section here uses one of the themes from here. Most of mine are using lightest one just because it was here and it was easy to customize, and then some of them are using different themes throughout. Clearly I like lightest one best, but that they almost give you like too many of themes here. You have 10, so that's a lot of themes. I think I'll only use like 2 or 3, probably 3 themes in this template, just because I found that there are so many options, like you don't even need them all. I will show you just how many there are. If you open up lightest one, which is the theme most used on this template, you would pick the title and navigation links up here and these site-wide backgrounds. So obviously we're picking white, overlay white, and the inset border is going to be this, also white. And then you'll be able to choose every single text color. As you can see, I have a pretty limited color palette here just because that's this theme. But you could technically make every single one of these a different color, which it helps with flexibility, but it's also, I think there are too many options in here. There are a lot of options in here to change colors, and they're pretty self-explanatory. And you can kind of play around with them as you customize your site. But if you're finding that something just doesn't look right, the colors are weird, you're going to want to see what color palette that section uses, and you're going to want to look at these headings and locate the thing that doesn't look right and change its color in here. So it's a little more, you don't just click on this and change the color. You would want to do it in here in these global sections, and every single block that Squarespace offers has a section in here, so it's kind of a lot. Look at how many options there are. There has to be 100. So it's a lot. So you saw how many options there were for just this one theme, and you have 10 that you can work with. I have not gone through and customized every single thing in these themes. That would be hundreds of colors. I don't even think you need that many colors, or you would need to ever use that many themes, but the basic concept would be you can apply a theme to each section, so it allows for a little bit more flexibility and customization in that way. If you were to choose to do that, you probably will never need to really change that much, but play around with it and see what works for you. So that is how you change the colors of the entire template. Obviously that would carry over to all these other pages as well. And you can go ahead and close that out, and that'll close those color options. So when you want to go ahead and customize a block or edit these blocks, you would just click in there and you'll see that everything's kind of already set up for you, but you'll want to start with the section background no matter what. So you will hit edit section. And background, there's already going to be this image here. The Canva templates to create these images are included with this theme, so you would just want to hit replace and upload your image from Canva that you created, and it's the same size, so it's just going to reappear and replace what you've already got there. You won't need to do anything else with that. Image effect is already on. It's like a parallax scroll just to give it a little movement and something interesting when you are scrolling through the site, so you won't need to change any of that. And then the options here are for full bleed and inset. You can change that. I don't like how it makes it really blurry. There's not much you can do. It seems to just stretch that image almost too far. And I really like this border, so this template is using this inset because it kind of fits with the theme of this template. So I just think it makes it look a lot nicer, a lot cleaner, and no matter what size I found that you were using for these, they just were blurry. Like I didn't love how that looked. But you can feel free to play around with that on your own. You can also blur that out with opacity if it's too harsh for you as well. You can add a video if you wanted to in the back there. And they have like these random backgrounds that you could add as well. Kind of cool if you're looking for something, you know, just some random patterns there. So we'll just go back to our image. You can also choose again one of these color palettes. So if there was no image here, it would be white because that's the color palette that we've chosen. And that's how we would edit like the foundation of our section. And then over that section, we can put blocks. So this is an image block. Again, you'll get a Canva template for this. So you can make it this nice photo border. You just replace it and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. And then you would go ahead and type your own words in here and replace those as well. So the cool thing about Fluid Engine too is you could kind of see when I hit edit section, it brings up this grid and it helps you like snap your images are going to snap right to that grid. But as you can see, it's not like the most flexible. You have to have some space between these. There's always going to be a little bit of space between them no matter what you do. So that is kind of the downside of it, and you can change these grid sizes. You can get rid of the space that way, but they're always like these rectangles, these horizontal rectangles. You cannot make them square. You cannot make them change shape in any way. They're always just going to be this shape. That is what I found. I've tried everything to get them to change shape, and it just really doesn't happen. So you're going to have these rectangles no matter what, but you can at least choose a height in here, small, medium, or large. This one's small, and in alignment, whether you want the grid kind of to the top, to the center, or to the bottom. You can choose that too. But that is just going to be, this grid's just not going to be squares. So it makes it, if you wanted to like move this a certain width, like it has to snap to these, you couldn't just throw it randomly wherever you want. Which makes it a little difficult if you wanted to move this just a little closer. Like, it's just ain't gonna happen. It's just not. It's either gotta be there, or it's gonna have to be there. Like, you can't, like Wix lets you kind of, you could put it there and it would stay. It's not gonna stay there. You know what I mean? You can kind of see that. It's gotta be snapped to those grids no matter what you do. So it's not a deal breaker, but it's not as flexible as a full-on drag and drop editor would be. So once you have, you know, your own text filled in and your own button filled in, your own photos put in, you've established the section on your own. And you can also go ahead and add any other blocks if you wanted another image, video, audio, form. You can go through all these and you can add them in. They might change the layout of things and push them around, so be aware of that, as well as you're adding different things to the site that are not a part of this template. If you do add, you know, more text, you'll want to obviously move things. If you want less text, you'll want to move things up or change things in that way. One thing that's important is to just make sure that your boxes around your text are as small as they can be, and you hit this red line if you click and drag. If you leave it like this, when the screen size changes, it's going to overlap and it could look a little strange. So you don't want it to be touching or overlapping any of these other elements, with the exception of things that are meant to overlap like that. But when you go ahead and make the screen size a little smaller, you want to make sure that it's going to readjust and respond properly. And the way you can do that is by making sure your text is all contained in a box with enough space between elements. So we don't want this video to go on for centuries, so I am going to just kind of skip ahead. You would style each section the same way with the same principles. This again is a Canva template that you'll see if you purchase this theme. And you would go through and style each section. You could potentially add a section. It would style pretty much the same way as the rest of the website because we've already set all of our colors and fonts. So you could do that and start from that blank slate, and it wouldn't be, you know, add a blank section. It wouldn't be the worst thing ever. Squarespace gives you these. They don't really fit the vibe. But yeah, that one's not terrible. Like, you could, kind of depends what you want. You could add one of those. And they have like all kinds of suggested ones, but some of them are a little weird. These look nice. These are cool. Just kind of go through those and see what strikes you if you do want to add something, or start with a blank section and build it up yourself. And you can do that all the way down the site. And you can do that on every page. So we can go ahead and save our changes, and we can go navigate to another page after that. Every page is constructed the same way, pretty similar type things. So you will be able to go in and change the sections in that way, all the way through the entire website. You can even add a whole new page, and it would style somewhat the same. It's pretty easy to figure out. Obviously, the journal is a blog page, and that's all set up for you. So we'll quickly look at how to change our blog articles. You want to hit edit again, and you would want to go in and give you the option to manage your posts or edit the sections. So edit section would be the design. Like if you want 4 blogs instead of 3, you could have that. You could lay them out differently, like a side-by-side layout, or vertical or horizontal layout. There's a couple different options in there. Manage posts would allow you to actually edit these posts and add your own blog in. You could just hit edit, and you just literally just type right in there. There's no like additional thing like there is in the old Squarespace, but you get kind of the old Squarespace's editor in here again to be able to add in your text and your images and put your blog entry together and save it. So when you're done, you hit done. And you can obviously delete all these if you want and add new ones, and it's still going to keep that style because it's all set up for you already. So there's no like grid in here with the fluid editor. It's kind of the old Squarespace editor in here. So the next area that we will touch on is the shop. That is constructed in very much the same way as the blog was. So we would be able to click on a product, and you can go in and edit. You can either edit the product or edit the design, the layout. So this is pretty self-explanatory. You would add your images, pick which one you wanted, put your prices, your stock, fill out everything, your shipping, categories and tags, visibility, showing related products or reviews. And you would also be able to do this additional info and use the old Squarespace editor, which it will add here under the product. So that's going to be stylized to what we choose once again. So it should be as easy as popping in your products. You shouldn't have to go too crazy with styling anything in that section. If we edit the design and edit the section, again, you can choose what kind of photo you want, navigation, image spacing, if you want the little breadcrumbs up here, and so on and so forth. And it should be very quick to go in and do that and just have it look nice. So of course you will want to check out the mobile view when you go through your website. And this has been stylized already as well. Check it out on your phone. These have all been moved and stylized for you so that you shouldn't have to really touch anything if you haven't moved things around a lot inside the desktop version. If you've added a new section in here that is not part of the template, you are going to want to go in and make sure that that is correct in mobile. This is not something where you can hide certain parts on mobile like you can in like WordPress's Elementor or Wix. You cannot do that. You have to use the same elements on desktop and mobile. So you're going to have to find a place for them or a way to move them around. Nothing can be hidden. So you're going to want to make sure that everything is kind of compatible with both. And it shouldn't be a major problem as long as you are sticking pretty close within the template and as long as you are sticking pretty close within the sections that Squarespace offers as well. So it's going to have the same grid in it if you do go ahead and edit the mobile sections. It looks exactly the same. It's going to bring up this grid again with the rectangles, which everything will have to be in. So it's got to either be there or there, and it's got to fit in these rectangles no matter what. And again, make sure your boxes are not overlapping anything else. You don't want that. They're all the way up as to this red line. And that there's ample space between them so that they respond correctly on different screen sizes. And you can go through the entire website and just make sure everything looks good and everything's all set. To edit your header, you're going to want to go in and add your logo in. And then it's got different header settings that you can play around with those as well, so that there's the correct spacing and that your logo looks good. And you have your shopping cart and your social icons in there too. So that is how you would go ahead and customize in the new Squarespace Fluid Engine. The difference between this Squarespace editor and the regular one is being able to overlap content if you want in this grid. You are able to do that. You would use this forwards backwards command to move them around. So it allows for a little bit more, customization, a little bit more design freedom, while not giving you so much freedom that you're completely overwhelmed. So I really like that about it. And as long as you are willing to, you're not too much of a rebel and you're willing to stick within these lines, which I would advise you do if you're just trying to build a website on your own as quickly as you can, then this is a really great way to do so. But if you want crazy customizations and ultimate flexibility, this might not be your platform. You might be happier on Wix. They do allow for a lot more customization. And you might be, if you're really more advanced, you'd probably be happier on a totally different non-builder platform. But I don't even see the need for that anymore with all these builders, and make it so much easier for us to just create a website as regular people and not crazy developers. And to get something up that looks really nice that we can use in our daily life. Just for your information, if you do grab one of these templates, under design is going to be some custom CSS coding. If you remove this coding, you will mess up your website. So do not remove it. I even recommend maybe copying and pasting it into a document and saving it, because you'll notice some of the styling, little things like font sizes that aren't customizable through the customizer might be lost. So don't touch. Big sign, don't touch. If you do know CSS and you want to customize in there, have at it. If you have no idea what I'm talking about when I say CSS, just don't touch. Thank you for watching, you guys. I hope that was helpful and taught you a little bit about the Squarespace Fluid Editor and how to use it, and how to also customize our templates and any Squarespace template built on that platform, and kind of how it's constructed and put together. I know I would have loved to have seen a video like this before I jumped in to kind of learn how to use it a little faster. So hopefully it was helpful for you. As always, I will link in the description down below a link to purchase this template if you're interested in that. And you can always save with code YouTube10. I'm going to leave it right here in case you'd like to use it. And if I do get any kind of Squarespace discounts or affiliate anything, I'm still kind of looking into that. I will put it in the description, so check that as well. I will work on trying to get some kind of thing going there with that. Thank you again for watching, and if you have any questions about the Fluid Editor or Squarespace in general, or this template, or anything that you feel I didn't cover that you're confused about, be sure to leave it in the comments below and I will get back to you and maybe make a follow-up video to go over some different things in Squarespace. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.